Hello everybody, my name is Sarah Wiers, and today I'm going to be talking about my cultural bag. So this is my bag. It may just look like any ordinary bag, obviously, like everyone else's does, but it is actually from Poland. My dad got it for me when he went there. I was really young, actually. I think I was in like 7th grade when he went. I've personally never been, but he went there and got this for me, and I don't know, I love it. I've been using it for a long time. I've been using it a lot more recently, actually, um, just because of teaching and everything, and I've been using it for clinicals, and it's really nicely made. Um, and I think that what this made me realize is that when you look at someone walking down the street, you may see them carrying a bag, and first of all, you don't know what's in their bag. You have no idea what someone's carrying inside, and second of all, you don't know where that bag is from. And I think it's really cool to someone else, this might just seem like some ordinary bag, but to me, it actually has a ton of meaning behind it, and I absolutely love it. So I wanted to share what was inside of this bag with all of you. So the first thing that I want to pull out, they're actually pictures. I'm going to set my bag down on the ground right now. So they're pictures, and it's of my family. So I have separate pictures, but I just didn't have a printed picture with me here at school of my whole family together. But my family does all live together at home. My parents are still married. They have been married. Next May, it will be 25 years that they have been married, actually. So that's pretty exciting. So I'll start with this picture. It's me and my mom, and this is my dog, Cooper. So my mom, her name is Lisa, and she is actually, she is half Italian and then Croatian and Slovenian. And then you have my dad, me and my dad. Sorry, there's kind of a glare, but yeah, this is my dad. His name is Michael, and he is Polish, Italian, and Irish. So altogether, I am mostly, personally, me and my brothers, which you'll see here. This is a little bit of an older picture, but this is my brother, Jack, and then this is Owen. Jack is a freshman this year at the University of Kansas, and Owen is a freshman in high school this year. So he's 15 and he's 18, and then there's me, and I'm the oldest. But all three of us are Irish, Italian, Polish, Croatian, and Slovenian. So we are all mostly Italian. And the reason I want to talk about my family personally is because they have a lot of what my family does as far as traditions go. We actually have a lot of our traditions revolve around food for as far as my ethnicity goes. So one of the things that we make every year are pizzelles. That's like an Italian cookie, and they're like this big. They're super thin. They're kind of like a wafer, and you mix the mix together, and then you get a special press that you put the mixture on. You press them together, and it makes actually like a little story on top that you can read. And we actually have our own pizzelle maker at my house. I obviously don't have that with me here, but you can buy them, and we love making them around Christmas time. Another thing that me and my family make are pierogi. It's Polish, and it's kind of like a dumpling. You can make them in different ways, but what my family does is they have the dough on the outside, and then the inside of the dumpling is potato and cheese, basically inside. And then you boil them, and then you fry them after, and they are literally one of my favorite foods ever. We make those probably twice a year. And then the final thing that's a tradition in my family to make is pizza. Pizza is kind of like an Italian pastry. It has like nuts in it, and it's rolled up if it's dough, and then there's a paste inside, and then you roll it all up, and then you bake it in the oven, and it's super sweet. And my family puts butter on it, and we have it for like breakfast in the morning sometimes. So that is a little bit about my family and our traditions. I wish I had a whole picture of all of us together, but this is all of us, and they have really influenced a lot of the traditions that I want to do and include in my future family. So yeah, moving on, the next thing that I have, I'm going to pull out, is this guy right here. I'm going to hold him up to the screen a little bit more. As you can see, it's an elephant, and this elephant is actually from Italy. I would love to travel to Italy someday just because a lot of Italian is in me. But my grandma actually traveled to Italy and she bought this for me. Elephants are like my favorite animal, but these rocks are like real rocks and everything, and it was handcrafted. It's actually from the city Caramanico, Italy. It's actually where my great grandpa traveled to America from. My grandma got to visit where he was from and told us all about it. And I was actually supposed to student teach in England next semester, and unfortunately, that got cut short and taken away just because of COVID and everything right now. And I was really looking forward to being able to go to Italy and go to Poland and visit like where my family's from, but hopefully I can do that in the future. But this I just keep on my shelf above my desk right here, and it just kind of reminds me of like my family and where I come from. It's super important to me. My grandpa loves talking about all of our family history and stuff, and I know that there's like a lot of Italian in me, and this is just really special for me to look at every once in a while, and it reminds me of my grandma. So that is my little elephant, which is my second item in my bag. So then my third item in my bag is on the smaller side. I will hold it up to the screen right here. It's a cross. So I am Catholic, and I was raised Catholic my entire life. I went to a grade school, preschool to 8th grade. I went to the Cathedral of St. Raymond, and I got a Catholic education through that. And then I also went to Joliet Catholic Academy for high school. So I got more of a Catholic education, and then I finally came here to Illinois State. So it was my first time actually being in a public institute. And my religion has just been such a big part of my life growing up. I always took religion or theology classes growing up. In high school, I went on a retreat called Kairos, and that's actually where I got one of these. I also have a necklace with me, and it just stays in my car, but I just decided to grab this because this stays in my wallet with me, actually. So I keep this in my wallet when I take my wallet everywhere I go. And on it is the dove, which stands for the Holy Spirit, and then it has Mary, Joseph, Jesus, and God, which kind of makes up the Holy Spirit. But on the back it says, "I am Catholic, please call a priest." So it's just to inform someone, like if I'm in danger or anything like that, they know that that's what they should do. But I grew up going to church on Sundays. In grade school, I would go to church Wednesdays and Sundays. It's just been a really big part of my life, and I'm really happy bringing back my family that I talked about with these pictures before. They really influenced, and I'm more than grateful that I got to grow up this way, and I still try to live out being as of a good person as I possibly can. I think that's a big part of it, is I try to live my life through God, and I think that's super important. So I just keep this in my wallet just to have God close to me wherever I go. So that's a little bit about me with my cross right here. So the next thing in my cultural bag is a little bit bigger. This is a bag right here, and you're probably like, what is this? So it's a bag inside of a bag, kind of. But inside is all of my ballet shoes. I'll pull them out really fast. So there's a lot of them in here. I'm not going to pull them all out, but I'll show you two different ones. So I have some pointe shoes in here, and I have a ballet shoe. And as you can imagine, this bag doesn't smell the best, but good thing you can't smell through a video. But basically, I'll explain a pointe shoe really fast. So dance has been such a big part of my life for as long as I can remember. I grew up dancing, and my mom put me in dance when I was 3 years old. And she actually put me in it because the dance studio that she chose to put me in was at the mall. So she could have a break from her 3-year-old for a second, and she could go shop while I was preoccupied with dance, and then she would pick me up. And it was just like a little break for her, but she did it unknowing that I would absolutely fall in love with it. Really quickly, I want to explain the point shoe really fast. So basically, this is a point shoe, and there are different parts to the point shoe. So this part right here that like my hand's around, that's called the box, and it's nice and hard. And then on the back, this whole part is the shank. So it's nice and sturdy. It kind of bends a little bit, but yeah, so then it comes with elastic and ribbon, and you have to sew these on yourself. So dance has honestly taught me a lot of life skills like sewing. And what happens is inside, you put this, it's called lamb's wool, and this goes inside the shoe right here where your foot goes in, and then you dance on your toe. So it's a lot of pressure, and that's why you put lamb's wool inside, so it doesn't hurt so much. But that's just one style of dance that I do. I do a lot of different styles like contemporary, jazz, hip hop. I used to tap when I was younger. And dance after I graduated high school, I continued to fall in love with it, and I actually chose to major in dance performance as well as elementary education. So it has just really shaped me into who I am, especially I related this kind of back to being a female. Dance has taught me how to be a confident female and be confident in myself and the choices that I'm making. In the arts, you really have to know how to prove yourself, and I think that that's what dance has taught me. It taught me how to be structured with my life and just taught me to be who I am today. And it's not just some extracurricular activity that's a part of my life. It's actually who I am. On my wrist right here, I actually do have a tattoo, and it says dance right here. And it's also in the shape of a cross, which comes back to my religion. And it's just, those are two things that are super important to me along with my family. And I think having this here reminds me every day like how much I love both of those things. But yeah, it's formed into like a little cross when you look at it from that angle. So that is the next thing that was in my bag. So moving on, I have a couple more things. The next thing that I have is all of my journals. Now, this isn't all of them, this is just a couple of them. But growing up, I used to go to both sides of my grandparents' house. And I was the oldest grandchild, so I would always draw and write stories with both of my grandparents. It was just something that we did instead of having me watch TV or something. We would just tell stories and write and draw and all these different things. And my grandpa, like I mentioned earlier, loves to talk about our family history and loves to talk about everything that has to do with where our ancestors came from and everything like that. He has Ancestry.com, and he just loves to tell stories like that and tell about what his past is like. And it kind of influenced me to continue to write and journal and kind of tell my own story. So I have all these journals. I'm obviously not going to open them, but I just have this love for writing that I think could be passed down at some point. We don't have a ton of information of all of my ancestors, but I don't know, maybe someday that these can be passed down to like my kids and then their kids, and they can learn about me and who I was as a person. And I think that's really cool because I don't personally have that for all of my family members, and I would love to know like what they went through. So writing has really just shaped me into who I am personally, I think, just like everything else that I mentioned has. So that is something that I try to do at least once or twice a week, just to write down my thoughts, feelings, what I'm grateful for, just free write, anything like that. It's just something that's super important to me. So I thought I would share that with all of you, or inspire some of you to maybe write a little bit more and just write down your thoughts and see where it takes you. It's really freeing. So that is another thing that was in my bag. And then the final thing that I have is this pin. It's very small. It's right here, and it's actually for my sorority. And I know before I joined a sorority, I had the stereotypical idea of a sorority girl and how they're dumb and they don't know what they're talking about and all these different things. And I honestly didn't want to be that. but I knew that being in a sorority involved service and it involved leadership. And I wanted to see what that was about, so I decided to do it, and I am so thankful that I did. I had so many leadership opportunities, and it really taught me to be a strong individual and to care about what other people say and to listen to other people's ideas. I also was able to do so many different service opportunities in my community, and that really shaped me into like the person that I am today. I love giving back to different places. Our philanthropic focus was to fight hunger. My sorority's Alpha Gamma Delta, and we would go to different food banks and help serve and pack different food, like Meals on Wheels, like stuff like that. So I also think that being in a sorority also taught me a lot about being a powerful female in our society nowadays. I talked a little bit about this when I talked about dance, but I think also being in a sorority showed me how many powerful and smart and caring and amazing females there are in our world and in our society. And I think it's really important that we empower these girls and these females. I empower all of my friends to do things that they might not have done before, and I feel more confident than ever to go and be a leader and be a teacher in a school and be able to do these wonderful things. And I think I found that confidence within myself from being surrounded by other powerful women. I would just like to thank all of you for watching my presentation about what is in my cultural bag and learning a little bit more about me.